everyone, I'm Bianca.
And I'm Rosina, and welcome back to
Twins in Stitches. Today we have a beginner's crochet tutorial for you all.
I'll be showing how to make these super cute hair clips. You can make them in 15 minutes, so perfect project, and they're perfect for the summer.
Amazing, let's get started.
For this project, you will need some yarn. I have done 2 different colours as I'm making 2 different clips. You will also need a crochet hook, some yarn scissors or normal scissors as well, a hair clip where you can stick your work onto, so this is just a plain simple one that I got at a local shop, and also a hot glue gun or super glue could also work. I will first be making an orange hair clip, so I will show you how to make the flower. In my previous video I said that almost all the time you will need to start with a slip knot. This is when you wouldn't. We are starting with what is called a magic ring. So how to make a magic ring is exactly like the slip knot. So we have this over our fingers, the yarn. We curl these two, bring the yarn through and to the other side. So we've got the exact same setup as for our slip knot, but instead what we do is we get our hook. So with our hook we go under the first yarn, through and scoop this up essentially, okay? So we have scooped this up. We'll do that again. We have the yarn wrapped around our 2 fingers. We put our hook in under the first yarn and we scoop up the second. Okay. Now what we do is we remove our fingers and we chain 2. So this can be a bit difficult because you have to keep this nice and taut. You want to bring the hook and the loop down, but we just chain 2. 1 and 2. And now we've got a magic loop. So what this is basically just a loop where you can put in stitches, which is quite neat, very lovely. Now what we are going to do is place 9 single crochets into our loop. So a single crochet is a new stitch. So how this works is we go into our loop, so no yarn over. We then yarn over and pull this through, and we then yarn over and go through the 2 stitches we have, right? So we only do 1 yarn over. Again, we insert our hook, we yarn over, we bring this through, and then we yarn over through those 2 stitches, and we continue 7 more times because we've done 2. So we go in, we yarn over, bring this through, then bring it through again. We go in, yarn over, bring this through, yarn over, pull it through. Go in, come out, yarn over, bring this through, yarn over, bring this through. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches so far. So I have now done my 9 stitches. Now what we do is with this yarn, the tail end, so the one that's not connected to our ball of yarn, we pull this. And by pulling it, we really bring this magic circle nice and small, which is very lovely. And then what we do is we slip stitch into our top stitch. We go in, yarn over, through, and then just through. And now we've got, look how, this is actually so cool, we've got this circle. Great. Okay, so now we need to do the petals. For the petals, we will be learning a new stitch called the half double crochet. So what we need to do is, how this will work is we put a petal into one stitch, and then the next one we do a slip stitch. Now this way we're able to bring the petal back to the original flower. So we want to start in our current stitch, which is this gap here. We are starting in this gap right here. Okay, right here we will be starting. So what we do is we want to yarn over and we're going to do a half double crochet. So the start is exactly like a double. We yarn over and go into this hole, right? So this hole I spoke about, we yarn over, go into this hole. Now we've got this cluster, and like before, we yarn over and bring through this cluster. So we've got 3 hoops. Now, how a half double crochet differs is that we just simply yarn over and bring through all 3. There is no yarn over twice, there's just a yarn over once. Now we will do 2 double crochets. So each petal will be made of 4 stitches, that's 1 stitch. Now we do double crochet, so we've just done this many times, so it's the same thing. Yarn over the first 2, and then yarn over the final 2. And we do this one again. First 2, and then final 2. And then to finish, we do another half double crochet, so the first stitch we did. So this is set up the same as a double, but instead of going through 2 and then 2, you go through all 3. Now, the reason for these different stitches is they have different heights, so it really does give your petal a nice curved shape. Now what we do is we identify our next stitch, which is the next V, which is right here, and we insert a slip stitch. So here, and then a slip stitch, and that's 1 petal. Now we'll be able to make 5 of these. So let us do the next one, just to make sure we've got it. Now make sure you can keep this nice and tight, but you can really tighten it at the end. So we now go into our next stitch. We don't go into the same one. So we yarn over, we identify our next stitch, which is just here. So we go in, yarn over again, through, yarn over and through the next 2. And then we do our double crochet. You can see here, I didn't go through all the strands of yarn. Okay, there we go. We accidentally left a strand of yarn, so make sure to go through all of them and through. So that's 1 double crochet. Let's do our second double crochet. And then our final one. Our final stitch, which is the half double. So we go through all 3. And then we slip stitch into the next stitch. Through and there. And I'll meet you once we've gotten to the end. So we're going to do this 5 times. We've now done our 5 petals, and again we do a slip stitch. This stitch may be a bit harder to find, but it's still here. And we are done with our flower. This is actually a really lovely quick flower to do. We will cut our yarn. So we cut, and then we will put this through as so. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. Okay, now that we've finished our flower, we need to go ahead and wrap our clip in yarn. So I'm using some white yarn. You can use any colour you fancy. And how I do this is I open up the clip and I start at the join. So where it joins up, so we only wrap it round the top, obviously not both, because you still need to be able to open and close your clip like normal. So I just bring this through, leave a bit of a tail end, and I just start to wrap. So go up and around and bring it to the top. Up and around and bring it to the top. So we've done that. Try to make it as neat as possible. Right at the top, it may not be as neat, which is completely fine. Our flower will be covering it, but do try to make it as neat as possible. You can go over once or twice. My yarn is quite thin, but I'm just going to go over once nonetheless. So just continue. So see, nice and neat. Continue wrapping and we'll get to the bottom. I'm getting near the end, and it could be useful just to put some hot glue here now, because if not it can get a bit difficult. Further on, just like the tiniest bit, just to secure it there so they stop moving. So just like so. Put a bit of glue and then wrap it around. And then we can continue. And this bit actually does get very finicky. it gets quite difficult to deal with. So let's get some glue and pop it at the back just a bit. And then we can continue to wrap a bit. Make sure to always look what it looks like at the front. And then I just glued it at the back here. So put a bit of glue and put the yarn that was left over just stuck on the back. Finally, we are going to stick this on the front. So the yarn left over from the front we can just put forward and glue in. Put some glue, stick that on, and put a bit more glue to stick the flower on. Of course, wait for it to dry. And those are our clips done. I am super happy with them. I think they look super cute and they are super easy and quick to make.
So now you know how to make these super cute hair clips. We hope you followed along. Please do stay tuned because we have lots of other super fun videos, and thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye!